Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Well, it's that time of year where a lot of homeschoolers are either on summer break or they might be planning ahead for their new homeschooling year. And this is also the time that a lot of people who are first starting out and are first making the move to start homeschooling are planning out their curriculum, and they're going into this bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with lots and lots of expectations. And that's why it's so important that I share this advice with you today. Don't quit homeschooling because of your curriculum. I get it. Using a new curriculum or even using a homeschool curriculum for the first time is a really exciting time for most people. Just looking through those teachers' manuals, looking through all of those lessons, just imagining how much fun your kids are going to have learning with you and how much better they're going to be learning now that they're at home. All of these things are ideas that will just run through your mind, and you know what? A lot of it is true. But I also really want to point something out. There are times that the curriculum that you have chosen, even though you may have put a lot of research into it, you may have put a lot of thought into it, or you know what, sometimes you might have heard a lot of other homeschoolers say that it really worked for them, so you bought it for that reason. There are times that that curriculum just might not work for your family. And this is one of those things that, especially with new homeschoolers who are doing it for the first time, they start to feel as if they are doing something wrong if the curriculum is not working for their child. And I have even seen that people have quit homeschooling simply because they felt that they were not doing a good job homeschooling their kids because their kids were having a really hard time with their curriculum. And you know, it is so important for you to understand that there are lots and lots of homeschool curriculums out there, and there are all different methods under the sun of homeschooling that you can use. So it is so important to you that you don't just throw in the towel if the very first curriculum or even the second curriculum or sometimes even the third curriculum that you use does not work right away. It does not mean that there is anything wrong with you as the parent. It does not mean that there is anything wrong with your child and that they're not cut out for homeschooling. It simply means that you do have to do a little bit of digging. And that's one of the great things about homeschooling. Kids who are in school, they're stuck with that curriculum. And let's face it, those curriculums don't work for a lot of kids who are in school. When your kids are at home, you do have that advantage of being able to shop around a little bit and find something that not only is a right fit for your child, but that is also the right fit for you as the parent. Take a look at how your kids like to learn. Take a look at if they like to do things with their hands, if they like to read, if they like to be read to, if they like to watch things on a screen. All of these ideas are things that you should take into account when you are buying that homeschool curriculum. But I'm going to reinforce this again when I say to you that even sometimes if you think that you found the curriculum that you think will be the perfect fit for your child, it might not work, and that's okay. I've been homeschooling now. I'll be starting my 12th year of homeschooling. And I can't tell you how many different curriculums I have used throughout the years with my kids. Trial and error. Has it held my kids back? No. It has actually been fun. It has brought variety into our homeschool. So don't let that idea hold you back. So another reason that other than that your curriculum might not be a good fit for your kids is sometimes are you relying too much on that teacher's guide? I know that especially with newer homeschoolers, but not always, sometimes even more seasoned homeschoolers do the same thing. If you rely too much on what that teacher's guide tells you to do with your children, it might make your homeschool life a little bit restrictive, and that in itself could make the curriculum not a good fit. So it might not even be the curriculum itself. It could very well be the way that you are being very rigid about the teacher's manual. Hold on one second. I just want to put this light keeps flickering and it's driving me crazy. Hopefully that helps a little bit. So anyway, don't rely on that teacher's guide too much. It's there to give you ideas, but it's not something that you have to follow step by step or else you're doing something wrong. I remember years ago I got a history curriculum for my daughter, and I tried doing everything that it said in the teacher's manual, but it was really written more for a classroom and not for a homeschool, which was funny because it was a homeschool curriculum. But I realized that it was really taking the fun out of it, not just for my daughter, but for me as well. And pretty soon I just got rid of that teacher's guide, and we had a lot more fun using the curriculum without it. So just remember that while the teacher's guide might give you a little bit of confidence if you're just starting out, don't ever feel like you absolutely have to do everything that is in it. And you know, if you've seen some of my other videos, you might have seen me say that I don't even buy the teacher's guides anymore. When I buy curriculum, I just plan out a way to use it that I know is going to work for my kids, and that's what I've been doing for years now. We have not been using teacher's guides at all. Other than with Beautiful Feet Books. I have to add that because their guides they're not like your typical teacher's guide. They are much more gentle and relaxed and simplified. So yeah, so Beautiful Feet Books are like the one exception that I would make when it comes to having teacher's guides. And I don't even think they call them teacher's guides, but I have no idea. I can't even remember what they are called at this point. Anyway, so another thing that you can think about with your curriculum is, are you being flexible with it? And you know, that goes right with the teacher's guide idea. Are you giving your kids the leeway to work in a way that will fit them best? Sometimes some curriculums will tell you that you should do maybe 3 pages a day, but you find that your kids are getting overly frustrated and that they are okay, you know, on like the first page and a half or 2 pages, but once they get past that point, they're getting irritable and they're making more mistakes. And this is when you as the homeschool parent need to step in and realize that you are the facilitator. The curriculum company is not the facilitator. You are the facilitator. So if you feel that your kids would do better doing 1.5 pages of that curriculum every day rather than 3 pages, do it. It is also okay to not have your kids do everything that is on a page. So for example, my younger children use Abeka arithmetic. And once they get up to about 3rd grade, that's the last year that we use Abeka arithmetic, then we move on to CTC math. But in around Abeka arithmetic grade 3, that is when they do start adding more and more math problems. So what I usually end up doing with my kids, because their attention span isn't good, when it comes to doing drill and kill, that's what I call it, drill and kill. So what I will do is I will circle some of the problems for them to do, and I will tell them, you know what, if you do those okay, then you don't have to do the rest of the problems. And if they have a really hard time, the next day we can always go back and do the rest of the problems that they didn't finish. But that's another thing. You do not have to do every single problem that is on every single page. You are the facilitator. So another issue that a lot of people have with curriculum is the idea that they must get it all done. They have to get it all done by the end of the year. I did this my first year of homeschooling. I was so strict about this that I was even having my kids do their schoolwork on Saturdays and Sundays because I wanted them to get this curriculum done completely 100% finished in the worst way. But if you realize it, you know, a lot of schools, I don't tend to like to compare homeschooling and school, but I know that with a lot of newer homeschoolers, they do compare the two, and that's why I'm going to point out that they don't usually finish that whole curriculum either. So again, this is one of those times that you really need to let your kids grow on their own timeline. They don't have to grow according to a school timeline. They don't have to grow according to the curriculum writer's timeline either. Homeschooling is about individualized learning. It is about giving your kids the benefit of growing and learning in their own time. And if that means that they won't finish an entire curriculum 100% by the end of the year, that's fine. So really what I hope that you take away from this is that the curriculum that you choose for your homeschool, it doesn't have to make or break your homeschool. Don't let that happen. What you need to do is you need to remember that it's okay that if something isn't working, either try to tweak how you're doing it, change some things around, or maybe just shelve it and look around for something else. And I know that a lot of people say that that can be expensive, but what I want to add there is that, you know, there are a lot of great free resources online. The library is an ideal place for you to get learning resources for your kids. So absolutely do that and try to do things in the most inexpensive way that you possibly can, especially if you don't have the financial resources to keep going out and buying new curriculum all the time, because I get it. I'm one of those people. I have to be a frugal homeschooler. But yes, your options are still really great if you don't have the tons of money to spend on this. You can find low cost and free homeschool resources. You just have to be resourceful and, again, take full advantage of that library. So your homeschool really should be about what your kids are, how they're growing, how they're learning, maybe your relationship with your kids. These are all things that you need to focus on the most when it comes to your kids. The curriculum that they're using, whether they've gotten it finished, those are all really kind of secondary to a successful homeschool. A successful homeschool is not focused around the curriculum itself. A successful homeschool is really about a child who is growing at their own pace, who is learning in a way that works best for them. And really, it's about working on that relationship with you and your child and instilling in them those values, those morals, and those topics that you think are important to your kids. That is what is more important than any curriculum that you can choose. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube disables my comments. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.